this year. They're rich in antioxidants as well. There's been a big kick this year on heirloom tomatoes and growing heirloom vegetables. That's really nice to see. So hopefully that trend will continue. We're very fortunate here in Northumberland to have all of this agriculture and farming that's right at our fingertips. Yeah, this is a good soup to use those cans of tomatoes in your cupboard, or anything just sitting there in your cupboard. Any soup is good this time of year. Take that right over, toss it in. There we go. A little action happening there. And that. And then the next step is very simple, is tossing your beef. I'm not measuring things. We don't have to always measure things. I know recipes are there for a reason. Now when you're baking, there's a difference. When you're baking, you really absolutely should follow the recipe because there's specific portions to lard and fat or butter or whatever you're putting in. When you're cooking, you can take a little bit of liberty with that. So don't be afraid to, don't go measuring out your vegetables. So I'm going to use a few cups. This is a little pot. In that big pot, I probably used cup-wise. I'd say, not that I really counted, a good half a bag of beets. Put about 10 cups of beets in there and cook it down. So we got our beets in here. And then the next thing is your stock. If you're fortunate and you have enough time to be able to make your own veggie stocks, the odds and sods of things that you can keep, your garlic pieces, onions, specifically carrots. You can roast that all off in the oven first, roast it off in the oven, and then you can add that to just water. You can put salt and pepper in it if you want, and you can just boil that for a couple of hours. You don't have to do a big pot. And then just strain it out, put some thyme in it, a little bit of whatever other spices you've got around, and then strain that out. Cool it, put it in some sealer jars for yourself, or you can freeze it in Ziploc bags when it's cold. Keep it in the fridge or the freezer, and then you can pull that out and add it instead of going and buying stuff. But I know we don't all have that leisure in that time, so for today's purpose, I will be using this. And then vegetable stock. Now beef stock, if you're using a beef bone, this is about the time it would be going in as well once you've got your stock and your water in there. Beef adds a little different dimension to it using a beef stock. So if you're a meat lover and you've had a nice roast beef, you can also chop up the beef if you want and put it in along with the bone. Okay, so that's about as difficult as it gets, folks. I am going to add a little bit of potato, just to give it a little bit more body to it. You don't have to. Probably put a little bit more stock in there. And pretty soon you'll see that color start to, change. Nowadays at the store as well, you can get those little bouillon, not the cubes, but they're like little gelatin. It's like a condensed chicken stock and beef stock. Those are really nice. Those are really handy if you're going camping, or they're good to just have in the pantry. They don't take up a lot of room. Okay. Got that going on. I'm just going to cover that and try and get that up to a bit of a boil. Meanwhile, we'll get a potato in there. Sampling coming up on that. I've also made some peach crisp today for everybody to try with some ice cream. It's so simple to do that. Like, crisp is just one of those easy, quick things. Just like this. tomato there. Toss that in. When you're doing a soup, you have to think of, or anything for that matter, when it comes to like cooking, and I'm sure most of you are familiar with it, you have to think about your cooking times and how long something's going to take to cook. And I don't know how many times that I've even worked with, first cooks who are putting this on in front of that or ahead of this or that, and it's kind of like, wait a minute, that's going to take a half an hour. This is only going to take 15 minutes. So beets are really hard. They take a long time to cook, way longer than carrots or potatoes, or cabbage for that matter. So that's why I put the beets in first, get them going. So what you would do if you were doing this at home now, you've got this in, you've got your potatoes in, and you just walk away and you forget about it for about a half an hour, 40 minutes on the stove, leave it alone, let it boil, reduce it down, do a little simmer. All those flavors are coming together. Salt and pepper to taste. You know, some people are on low sodium diets, so you don't have to add the salt in there. So it's just according to whatever you need. Then the very last part of this is our wonderful cabbage. Don't be afraid of cabbage. Cabbage is really great for cabbage rolls too. But especially good in this. Cabbage soup, cabbage and potato soup is good. Cabbage, any kind of soup, throw a bit of cabbage in. Cabbage is one of those things too that a little piece of saran over it, toss it in the fridge. It's there literally a week later, and it really hasn't done anything. It hasn't went bad. It hasn't, it's one of those root vegetables that we don't get to have root cellars anymore necessarily, but again, kind of a handy thing to have around as a cabbage. So if you're fortunate enough and you hit the farmers markets early enough, by all means try and get whatever you can locally. A lot of the produce at the grocery stores right now is coming in local, from the area. A lot of the local grocery stores are working with the local agriculture, farming and farmers to get their produce into the store. So, so a lot of times you just got to look at the labels, and at least if it's grown in Ontario, that's always nice. I'm sure everybody kind of tries to shop and buy and do local as much as we can. All right, you've got your cabbage. There's a couple ways you can do it. You can just nick off this bottom part, and then you can just start slicing it. You can take the time and core it. That would be more pertinent if you were making cabbage rolls and kind of picking off the leaves. You want to have it cored so that the leaves will come off better. But for our purposes today, we're just going to use a little bit. Just simply slicing it works great. You want to work with a flat surface whenever you're cutting something that's big and bulky, like a watermelon or any of that. Even with the watermelon, give a little quick cut to the bottom of the watermelon somewhere where you can set it down and at least it's not rolling all over. Or don't be afraid to put it on a cloth or a tea towel or something like that. Good sharp knife helps. I was surprised to find that about a month ago, blowing through my neighborhood in Coburg, I hear this old-fashioned ding, 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 ding ring of the bell. So one of the little kids I was around said, "Oh, ice cream." It wasn't ice cream. It was a knife sharpener who had come up all the way from Niagara. Okay? All the way up from Niagara, and that was the first time in all my years of being in Coburg that I'd ever seen a knife sharpener, a gentleman driving around in his truck. I mean, I think you still get it in Toronto, but yeah. So again, try at the very bottom. You're going to end up with a bit of core. You don't necessarily want that in there. You can kind of cut around that. Cabbage is so sweet, it's so nice, it's so one of those underutilized vegetables that we often pass up. And you know what? Budget-wise, you can't beat it. And like I said, it lasts in the fridge forever. And it makes good cabbage rolls. And all kinds of other good dishes. So, and you may not use the whole cabbage depending on how many you're cooking for. I tend to do things in large pots. So we've got our beets in here, we've got our celery, our onions, garlic, little bit of carrot, a little bit of potato, some bay leaf, oregano, some thyme, again, whatever herbs you feel comfortable with. And I don't know if you can see this now, but it's starting to come up to that beautiful color. And it still needs to, I would probably boil that, even pot that size, again, for about at least a half an hour when it comes up to temp, so that the beets need to really soften up a bit before you add the cabbage. The cabbage is almost like the last step. So for all intents and purposes today, this is already cooked. It's been boiling, boiling on the stove. The beets are tender when you put a little fork in there. And then at that point, you can just toss in your cabbage, a few cups, whatever's going to sort of get that soup happening. Again, give it a little bit of a stir. And then I might leave that go for a few more minutes and then just shut the burner off and walk away. That's it. Dinner's done. You get a good crusty bread to go with that. You can sour cream. You can use sour cream. That's a classic way of going with it. Or you could do the good old-fashioned creme fraiche, which is, you know, just leaving your cream out and letting it do its thing and ferment. So there you go. Here's your borscht soup. It's that simple. Thank you. We've got samples for everybody, right?
That's right, we have lots of samples. I want to thank everybody for coming this afternoon and listening to our cooking demonstration, and thanks Chef Michelle.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's interesting to watch a professional cook and know how to treat their knives properly, and all of us these days are trying to eat a little better, so this recipe is going to go a long way to make that happen. It's good to see the fresh vegetables. One thing that I would like to tell you about this afternoon, we have a presence with the Fair Share food bag. So by all means come along and check out their table and see what's happening with that. This picture beside me of the cockerel, the rooster, is going to be a silent auction for the benefit of the Fair Share food bag. So if you're interested at all in putting in a bid, I have a page there ready for it. We also, I want to remind you, have cooking demonstrations and cooking workshops going on all weekend. Tomorrow afternoon we will have a chef from The Social, and